Hi, I'm Pam. I work in the Adult Services Department at the Shaker Heights Public Library. I really enjoy historical fiction. It takes me back in time and I get to reimagine the lives of those who have gone before us and learn about some of the events that have taken place. I'd like to share a few books that have taken me back to the time just before, during, and right after the Civil War of the United States. If you ever wondered what Washington was like during the Civil War, you should read Mrs. Lincoln's Dressmaker by Jennifer Yevarini. The author takes you through the streets of Washington and right on into the White House through her book, which is based on the real life of Elizabeth Keckley, dressmaker to Mary Todd Lincoln. Elizabeth Keckley was a slave in Virginia for 30 years before she was able to buy her and her son's freedom and move to Washington. Elizabeth quickly becomes well known for being the best dressmaker in town by the A-list women in Washington. So, of course, Mrs. Lincoln, wanting only the best, seeks out Mrs. Keckley to be her personal modiste. Over time, Mrs. Lincoln comes to rely on Elizabeth not only for her dressmaking expertise, but for her counsel and friendship. Without giving everything away, you can imagine there's heartbreak that comes in life, especially with the outbreak of war, all the aftermath of war, as well as scandal and betrayal. This book is so rich in detail that you can feel the oppressive summer heat of the city. You ache for the loss of family as the North and South take up arms against one another, and you rejoice in the healing power of time. If you like character development, this book is for you. Elizabeth Keckley shows great strength and is very kind. She's also a smart businesswoman. Mrs. Lincoln loves her family and would do anything for them, but struggles with bouts of depression and anxiety. You also get a glimpse at what kind of family man Mr. Lincoln may have been like while living in the White House. Mrs. Lincoln's Dressmaker is available on Overdrive in ebook. If you are interested in the first-hand account of Mrs. Keckley's time in the White House, you can read her autobiography called Behind the Scenes, 30 Years a Slave and 4 Years in the White House. You can find this title on Overdrive in both ebook and e-audio as well. The next book I'd like to talk to you about is The Widow of the South by Robert Hicks. This novel is well researched and it has stuck with me for years. The action of this historical fiction title takes place in the South, Tennessee to be exact. This story is set around the Battle of Franklin in November of 1886, one of the bloodiest 5 hours of the Civil War. A well-to-do plantation is taken over by the Confederate Army to become a makeshift hospital and ultimately the burial grounds of well over 1,000 soldiers. Carrie McGavick, the wife of the plantation owner, is the main character. She is in a depressed state after the death of 3 of her children when Captain Nathan Bedford Forrest approaches to let her know that her home is about to become a hospital. Carrie relies heavily on her slave Mariah, and the two of them go about taking care of the wounded and dying. It is during this awful time, with a war raging just beyond her doorstep, that Carrie finds purpose to live. What I like about this book is that it's told from multiple perspectives. Other than Carrie, we hear from other characters such as Mariah, who keeps the plantation running when Carrie's husband is away, Carrie's husband, and their neighbors, as well as soldiers from the North and South. Widow of the South is beautifully written. You feel the emotions of the characters, and Robert Hicks takes you from Carrie's plantation to the battlefield and back. This novel makes me want to visit the Carton Mansion where the McGavick family lived and see the cemetery where Carrie buried all the dead soldiers that weren't claimed by their families. Widow of the South is available on Overdrive as an ebook and an e-audio book. Finally, I'd like to talk to you about An Extraordinary Union by Alyssa Cole. This title is for fans of historical romance. This story is about Elle Burns. She is a former slave living the life of freedom in Massachusetts when she decides to become a spy for the Loyal League. The Loyal League accepts her as one of their spies only because she has a photographic memory. Elle is determined to make her world a better place, and she will do anything to help win the freedom for all slaves. So once again, she will be a slave in the South. She poses as a mute on loan to a rich senator's household where she is put in service to his spoiled daughter. In the house, she will eavesdrop and try to look at any letters or plans she can set her eyes on. The hero of the story is Malcolm McCall. He poses as a Confederate soldier. In reality, he is working for Pinkerton's detective agency, trying to find out what the Confederate Army may have planned against the North. He is a smooth-talking charmer, and soon Susie, the senator's daughter, takes a liking to him. However, Malcolm has an instant attraction to Elle. Elle doesn't trust Malcolm at all, as she can see how easy it is for him to turn on the charm and lie in order to play his role. She makes it clear to him that their common mission comes before any romance they have together. Malcolm will have to prove his love to her. An extraordinary union has it all: history, great characters, romance, adventure, and hold your breath moments. You can find this title as an e-audiobook or ebook on Overdrive and as an ebook in Hoopla. Thank you for taking the time to listen about a few books I've enjoyed. Please stay safe and healthy, and don't forget to take a look at some of the great electronic resources the library has to offer at www.shakerlibrary.org. Thank you again.